But myself, as well as any other creator that tells you it's all, strippers and burritos, that is a lie. I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't give your time to anybody that's not willing to give it to you, right? How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Tempus TV compound, and welcome back to another video. So of course, I get asked about moving to Thailand, and content creation. It's one of the things I get asked about the most. And now, while of course I'm not an expert in either, after almost 2 years, which is pretty crazy to think about, I have learned quite a bit. So in today's video, I'm gonna go over some things that I've learned, as well as some things you can expect so you can implement them on either side of your journey. And honestly, a lot of this stuff you could probably just put into a lot of facets in your life. So let's do it. So without going too far into my backstory, let's just say that I have been in some places, I've been in some situations that nobody wants to find themselves in. And for me personally, and I know it goes for a lot of others as well, when things like that happen, when you move into your future, you move into other things, for some reason, even if we don't realize it, we might kind of convince ourselves that we can't do something, or for some reason that we don't deserve the things that we want. Now, I'm not trying to sit here and tell you that, oh, I'm perfect, or at 32 years old, I've gotten it all figured out. But I have faced some pretty serious adversity, and I have made it out of a lot of situations that unfortunately, a lot of people that were there will never be able to do. Now, the thing that I have picked up through all that nonsense is I think it is very important for everybody, pretty much no matter where you're coming from, to put yourselves in uncomfortable situations. Now, if you're comfortable with what you're doing, there's no real motivation to change that, right? If you're not absolutely discontent, of course, it can be really easy to just keep doing the same stuff. So I think it's really important to take yourself, and if you really want something, put yourself in the situation where you're so uncomfortable or it's so unreasonable that you have to make it happen. You have to figure it out, because if you don't, then, there is no plan B. The thing I don't like about plan Bs is it can be easy to give up on plan A. Now, thinking about that, especially if you want to come to Thailand, what I did is, of course, I knew that if I gave myself enough time, I was gonna start looking for reasons to back out of it. So I went ahead, I bought a ticket, I sold my truck. I kind of put myself in the situation where I didn't have an opportunity to talk myself out of it. Of course, you need to be realistic on whether it's doable or not. If you don't have any income or savings or anything, and you think just showing up without any money is a good plan, of course that is not. But if it's reasonable that you can make it happen, I say just pull the trigger, set yourself up, and just commit to it. Now, if you're planning on trying to lean into content creation, whether that be going overseas or in any facet, really, there's a few things and a few hurdles and some adversity that I think is a good idea to know about going into it, so you can know what to expect and you can kind of start learning how to deal with it right off the jump, instead of how I did it and didn't really look into it at all, so then all of a sudden you're just getting smacked in the face with it. Now, a big one that you're gonna face for sure, especially if you're moving to Thailand, but really in any instance where you're kind of uprooting your life and changing what you're gonna be doing on the day-to-day, is you're gonna lose contact with people. That's just how it goes. When you stop going to parties, or you switch jobs, careers, maybe you move far away from home, you're just gonna lose contact with people. With me coming to Thailand, it wasn't as big of a deal for me because, like I said, I've put myself in situations before where that had already happened. Not only was I ready for it, I was kind of expecting it. Now, the reality is, when you do things like that, friends for sure, maybe even some family, you're gonna find out who you should really be dedicating time to. I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't give your time to anybody that's not willing to give it to you, right? Now, of course, it's not fun to learn that maybe you're not as close with someone as you thought you were. I do think it's really important to figure out who those real people are in your life, so you can make sure you're spending your time in the right places. And the reality is, you can ask your parents, how many people that they went to school with do they still talk to? How many friends do you have from that first job you had? The reality is, most of us are only blessed with a few true friends in our lives, so I think it's really good and really important to figure out who those people are. Now, the next thing is especially true for content creation, but it really has to do with any time that you step out of your normal lane, or maybe the lane that you and all your friends are in, and try to do something new for yourself. And that reality is people will want you to fail, especially if you're stepping out of the normal grain. Maybe you're trying something new or a job that everybody kind of wants, but people won't really commit to. people are gonna want you to fail. Everything from randoms online to friends to maybe even family members, there are gonna be people that are not wishing you the best. Now, while I do think constructive criticism is really important, I think it's even more important to define the difference, you know what I mean, from constructive to not constructive. And at the end of the day, for me, the golden rule is do not take criticism from anybody that you wouldn't take advice from. Another thing I think is really important, especially if you want to pursue content creation, understand that being a content creator is an amazing job, but at the end of the day, it's still a job. Now, a lot of people, myself included, when you're looking at it from the outside in, you don't really understand the level of work that it does take to put out even mediocre content. Don't get me wrong, I don't regret my decision to pursue success on YouTube at all, but myself, as well as any other creator that tells you it's all, you know, strippers and burritos, that is a lie. There's gonna be days where you do not wanna film. There's gonna be months where you're questioning yourself if you made the right decision or not. All I can tell you in that situation is to keep powering through and look at, you know, your analytics and what is going on realistically. If you're still growing, if things are still continuing to get better, even though it's never gonna be as good or as fast as you want it to be, stay committed and continue trying to get better and better. Now, with that said, I know there is a group of you that wishes, you know, whether there was more videos or different types of content, and I do my best to try to meet you guys in the middle. The reality is, a lot of the time, those things aren't happening is because, of course, I have a life outside of YouTube. In order for this to continue, it is of course important, just like it is in any other job, to find that balance. If you're working just to work and that's all you're doing, especially for myself, it can be really easy to burn out. And with me coming to Thailand, YouTube was a big part of it, but of course I wanted to come to Thailand and enjoy Thailand. So sometimes I am making an effort to be in the moment and enjoy what I'm doing. Now, even though I've applied these things to, you know, moving to Thailand and content creation, but these are just a couple of things that I've picked up along my way. I've put myself through a lot more shit than a lot of people have my age. That's my own fault. I don't blame anybody. I'm not playing the victim, but I have picked up some stuff along the way. So I'm just doing my best to share those with other people that might be going through the same situation. Now, I know everybody says it, but I really mean it when I do that. If I can do it, if I can make a leap and, you know, begin to make things happen, you sure as hell can. There's been multiple times in my life when I've counted myself out and I've bounced back and forth multiple times. Majority of the time, it's because of my own decisions. That just goes to show you, if I can figure it out, you most assuredly can. So if you were looking for a sign that there's still hope, there's still time, there's still an opportunity for you to do those things that you really wanted to do, I'm telling you, all you gotta do is commit. So if you're looking for that sign, here it is.